On February 18th, 2020, in the most recent developer stream of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, the upcoming MMORPG by Visionary Realms, quite a focus was placed on the race known as the Spriggan. We saw detailed visuals, extensive lore dialogue, and plenty of design philosophy about them. Over the course of the game's development, quite a bit of information about the Spriggan has previously been released as well, albeit in various places. It's become apparent that the Spriggan will be an important aspect of the game world, and there's a deep connection between them and the origins of the planet on which Pantheon takes place. So in this video, let's try to compile and summarize some of that information to get a better view and appreciation of how the Spriggan fit into the world of Terminus. Remember, Pantheon is currently in pre-alpha development, so there might be a few guesses along the way as well, but I'll be sure to emphasize those pieces when they come up. So sit back and let's take a closer look at those known as the Spriggan. Our introduction to the Spriggan came in the December 2018 newsletter in the tale The Seed and the Worm. This title refers to a story, one of many, about the origins of the planet. What's unique about the story is that it was recounted only by the tree folk known as the Spriggan. The tale begins as follows. In the days before time, hands reached through the darkness and birthed a new light. This light was called the Seed of Life, and the hands buried the seed in a sphere of soil that hung among the heavens. A womb of ore, mineral, and dust, it was by any other name, a planet, one the Spriggan would call Noah, but is more commonly referred to as Terminus. There's quite a bit more to the tale, and I would submit a full reading is well worth your time, as the story has ancient roots that bears fruit to this very day. But for the purposes of this video, what we learn is that the Spriggan possess an intimate knowledge of the time before Terminus was, well, Terminus. In fact, no other race is known to use the namesake Noah, and it does not appear to have been altered through the ages, as with Abazul and Nistarok. Thus, the Spriggan may be considered an extension of the planet itself. The lore suggests as much and tells us that the offspring of the Seed of Life were known as her Spriggan, and it's said they bore the markings of the Seed of Life, who they call the Face and the Deep. But what are these markings they possess which represent the Seed of Life? When we look at the Spriggan, we can see the green glow pulsing through the eyes, neck, and chest. This green flame is the life force of the creature itself, and within every Spriggan since their creation. What lies buried within the Spriggan body is merely a splinter of the first Verdant shard, which was the final gift of their creator, known as the Seed of Life. Furthermore, the Spriggan, although having been present upon the planet from its earliest days, possess an ancient youthfulness. They were created to be nimble and full of youth, and would be the hands and feet of the Seed of Life upon the world. Upon their creation, the Spriggan were caretakers of the planet. Yet, over time, their purpose became to reach out across all of Noah in triumph, ensuring that life would spread throughout the planet, enduring on its own. To do this, the Spriggan needed to be able to reach distant lands without delay. To this end, they were imparted with the first purpose of the Verdant shards, by those that came before them. This purpose is noted as being to open pathways of the world route, transporting the Spriggan great distances in a moment's notice. These points of passage became known as the Wandering Stones, a namesake which endures to this day. What we know of the Wandering Stones in Terminus presently comes mainly from the class description of the Druid. There, it is stated that explorers have noted the presence of ancient iridescent stones that stand within shrines hidden amid the groves and wilds of Terminus. And it is rumored that druids are somehow able to attune to these wandering stones and travel between them. Should you come across a wandering stone, it is possible that a Spriggan may be close, as near to some of the wandering stones, the Spriggan began their custodianship of the land, developing domains known as groves. In the February developer stream, we met Nehu of the Oa, a Spriggan of the Old World. She speaks to their purpose, as she states, "My state is a Spriggan's glory. Every day my roots reaching closer to the face and the deep. Every night I sit in an ancient wood and search the world through paths the eye cannot see." She likely refers to the subterranean remnants of the Seed of Life. If we return to the tale of the Seed and the Worm, we are reminded that, though the seed was no longer working through the great roots, many lesser roots remained throughout the body of Noah. Of great aid to the Spriggan would be those that path just below the surface of the planet, known collectively as the World Root. Not unlike the 9 races that have since come to the planet, Spriggan society possesses social structure. It is noted each grove is overseen by a king called an Oa, and every grove must have a queen as well, known as an Ua. This was on display in the February developer stream, as we saw Nehu reveal, "I traveled to Oldwood long ago from the grove of Oa-Kaam, king of the Spriggan sanctuary." It is notable that her name, Nehu of the Oa, implies the Spriggan perhaps take on the name of their grove. We also learn that the life cycle of a Spriggan can culminate with their return to Noah, as Nehu states, "Among my people it takes both age and ability to meld with the soil in such a permanent way." Nehu was once a Spriggan, as we've seen, but in their latter years their body will twist and change into something more tree than Spriggan. It's noted, however, not all Spriggan achieve this end, but for those that do, it's seen as a worthy end to the Face in the Deep's gift of life. Those such as Nehu follow one of 2 paths, the seed of the fruit or the seed of the spawn. The first, being more common, bears fruit, while the latter, as Nehu exemplifies, produces living creatures. It is the Ua of the grove who oversees the cultivation of new Spriggan. But this is not Nehu's purpose necessarily. As she notes, the flower we see in her branches is an offspring, known as a seedling, while not a true child, as seedlings become drollings and not Spriggan. To create new Spriggan involves a process that begins by harvesting a splinter of the Verdant shard, which is wrapped in a soft flame known as the Verdant fire. Also in the developer stream, we are introduced to what is presumably a younger Spriggan in Nymir, who stands near the entrance to the Isle of Infinite Storms. We know that the area in which this stream took place was the Old Wood, as it's mentioned several times by the developers. But how common are Spriggan in other parts of the world? We know that at least 2 other Spriggan reside in the Red Grove area of Fairthale, as it's noted in the Tales from the Fire, The One Between the Winds Part 2. The tale mentions the creatures of Red Grove were known as wanderbeasts. Here roamed the small drollings and the tall galu, winged foxes called Enfields, and on occasion a brazen fay. Even a pair of Spriggan dwelt herein, though none would confuse their kind for a mere wanderbeast. So the Spriggan, as custodians of the planet and witnesses to its history, will undoubtedly be a source of valuable information about the world when the day comes that we're searching for its secrets ourselves. And just in case you needed further motivation to seek them out, recall that, depicted here with the model, is the arm of the Emerald Sky. This intricate staff is able to conduct and direct with great power, and is said to be granted to non-Spriggan folk on rare occasions. So who will hold the prestige of being the first to wield the arm of the Emerald Sky in Pantheon? Will you meet the requirements of the Spriggan's quest, or perhaps you'll take it by force? As always, thanks for watching this video. The recent developer stream I referred to here really showed off what Pantheon is shaping up to be. It's a living, breathing world that's been absent from the MMO landscape for so long. I'll leave a link in the description to the stream if you want to check it out. If you're still on the fence about pledging, I'd encourage you to visit pantheonmmo.com and check the FAQ and the pledges available to support the game's development. Until next time, cheers, and thanks for watching.